Are we talking about peace?
Do you understand?
Are we moving towards hopefully peace?
Do you understand?
Or are we just
let me explain to you.
Continue to bomb each
let
other?
me explain to you. All right, let's go to Mohammed. Mohammed is next up on PTL. Hello, Mohammed.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Good.
All right. So here's my, I guess, challenge with the topic in your position is, so why do you feel like we as the United States get to dictate to the rest of the world what the resolution should be? We're just brokering the meeting and trying to get to an end or a ceasefire, end of to the war.
When did I say
they
that?
Don't need to agree.
When did I say that?
You're saying that we're okay. I'm not saying that that's your exact words. Here's what I'm saying: that the United States is somehow capitulating and giving Russia everything they wanted. That's not the case. You have two countries at war, right? One of them's going to have to agree to something, and the other one's going to have to agree to something. We're just middling ourselves to help broker a ceasefire.
Okay, so hold on. You think
we don't get to tell? Well, hold on. Let me finish my point, though. So we don't get to tell Putin, here's what you're going to get, and you're going to give back territory, and you're going to peel back. He doesn't need to agree with us on anything. He doesn't even need to agree to an end of the war. At least he's agreed to talks. That in itself is an accomplishment. But you're so hell-bent on Donald Trump.
Wait, hold on a second. All right. Okay, now I'm going to speak.
You give him credit for nothing.
Now I'm going to speak. You think I should give Donald Trump credit, and you sound like a Trump supporter, by the way. You think I should give Donald Trump credit for rolling out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin. No sanctions on Russia. He's the one who campaigned on the war is going to end in 24 hours. You MAGA supporters seem to have Alzheimer's. You must be forgetful in the bunker, Mohammed. But Donald Trump is the guy who said he would end the war in 24 hours. We're now in month 7 of Donald Trump's administration. And you think that I should give Donald Trump credit for getting absolutely nothing accomplished on Friday, but rolling out the red carpet for an evil dictator, not answering questions, not taking questions from members of the media, coddling to Vladimir Putin. And you think I should sit here and give credit to Donald Trump? Did you give credit to Joe Biden when he met with Putin and he stood up to Putin and he called him a dictator?
I gave him all the credit in the world.
Please. I don't believe
the war
that.
Starting on his watch.
I don't believe that. You give him. Okay, so what did Biden do? So what did Biden do to start this war? Tell me, Mohammed. What did he do?
Well, actually, he did nothing because he wasn't really the president.
Okay.
He really wasn't the president.
That's not an answer, Mohammed. That's a nice trying to bow out. You just blamed Joe. You just blamed Joe Biden for this war.
I'm asking, being an invalid, yeah.
What did he do?
Basically, he was an invalid, and he was sitting at the head of the free world and not doing anything, and letting people around him run the country and make decisions.
And what evidence?
Give pardons and do all the other shit.
And what evidence do you have that he did nothing?
What evidence do you have that he did something?
Well, I could say that he didn't give.
Nothing.
Here's what I'll. No, it's not. No, it's not. Here's what I'll tell you. What Joe Biden. Joe Biden didn't send Vladimir Putin COVID test kits in the middle of COVID. Joe Biden never blamed Zelensky for this war. Joe Biden didn't call Vladimir Zelensky a dictator. Joe Biden is the guy that didn't praise Vladimir Putin and call him smart and call him intelligent. Joe Biden isn't the guy that said Zelensky, it's up to him to end this war, to give up land.
Okay. Who brokered, and I don't even give Donald Trump the credit. I give Marco Rubio the credit.
For what?
Really. But
for what?
I'm about to tell you who got him on a plane and got him to come and at least talk about what it's going to take to bring peace. Was that Trump and his administration?
So you think that's a positive to roll out the red carpet and get nothing in return? You think that's a good thing?
Listen. So what did it cost us to roll out the red carpet? Are we talking about peace?
Do you understand?
Are we moving towards hopefully peace?
Do you understand?
Or are we just
let me explain to you. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about. First of all, this has nothing to do right now with cost. The conversation we're having. People like you attacked Barack Obama for giving a quick head nod bow to members in Saudi Arabia. Do you remember that? All the criticism that
who's bringing up Obama? Nobody.
I'm bringing
You
it up. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because you want to praise. Imagine for a moment if Joe Biden
I'm not praising anybody.
imagine for a moment, because you won't criticize Donald Trump. Imagine if Barack Obama or Joe Biden invited Vladimir Putin and rolled out the red carpet for him in America and didn't answer any questions in a press conference and then put all the pressure on our allies and Zelensky. You would be screaming to high heaven, and Fox News would be criticizing Obama or Biden till the cows come home. But somehow we're supposed to give him a Nobel Peace Prize? Muhammad, you sound ridiculous.
That's not. Nobody mentioned a Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Plenty of people have on the right. Yes, they have.
Well, I have it, and
including Benjamin Netanyahu.
You're just throwing extra wood on the fire unnecessarily at this point. What I'm saying to you is there is progress. Whether it's enough for you or not, there is progress. But you are so deluded in your thinking that everything Trump does is so bad. It's not necessarily.
What has he done good?
Trump.
What has he done good?
He brought Putin to the U.S.
He rolled out, and what did we get out of that? And what did we get?
How to bring peace.
And how did that work out?
It's only been one meeting.
I thought he could end the war in 24 hours. I thought he could end the war in 24 hours. Has it been 24 hours?
Oh, again. You're taking. Did he bluster and throw out remarks that were clearly unrealistic? Yes. I'm not saying he didn't. What I am saying to you is he is at least moved the ball forward.
How?
To some degree. By getting him to come and let's at least understand what it's going to take to bring peace. What are your expectations?
And you know what that is? You want me to give Donald Trump credit for basically giving in to Putin and Putin demanding Crimea.
What did he give him? Did he give him anything?
I'll tell you.
Did Putin walk away?
I'll tell you.
Get back on the plane.
Putin walked away.
I'm going to get everything I want.
Putin walked away happy. You want to know why? Because Russia's not being punished for this. Putin's not being punished for this. And they're going to get what they want ultimately, which is land that they don't own.
You don't know that.
Oh, really? You think Putin's just going to, so you think the war is just going to end and Putin's going to wave the white flag? Are you crazy? Are you crazy?
Nobody said that. You're putting words in my mouth.
So what are the sanctions? What are the sanctions on Russia? Name me one.
Nothing has been determined
Nothing.
Yet.
It's right, exactly. But you want to give him credit for doing absolutely nothing.
Okay. Here's what they do have. They have directly from Putin, here's what my expectations are. Now they're going to go to Zelensky and say, here's what Zelensky is then going to say, here's what's acceptable and here's what is not.
Mohammed,
and then they're going to try to broker somewhere in the middle.
Stop. Mohammed, who do you want to win this war? Mohammed, who do you want to win this war?
Nobody is going to win because it's a war. There's
Mohammed,
no such thing as winning.
Mohammed, who do you want? Yeah, not true.
All lost.
Who do you want to win?
How many Russians have died, Brian? How many Russians have died?
For you to say that they all lost.
How many? Okay, forget.
If Vladimir, hold on a second.
You refuse to answer anybody else's question.
Hold on a second.
How many Russians?
You just said nobody can win this war. If Vladimir Putin ends up taking over Ukraine, you don't think that's a win?
Not what I said. Correction. That's not what I said. I said no one wins in war.
That's not true.
Nobody's going to win.
That's not true. 100% wrong.
How many Russians have died?
It doesn't matter. The point I'm trying to make here.
It does, because you're trying to make it.
No.
Putin is going to win.
Why did Putin invade?
He's not going to win.
Why did Putin invade Ukraine?
Because he wants territory and he wants.
And if he gets territory,
that are going to benefit Russia.
And if he does, and if he gets territory, you don't think that's a win for Vladimir Putin?
I do. You think it's a win?
There you go. Hey, ding, 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 ding. There you go. Have a nice day, Muhammad. No, you blew it. Have a nice day. You just made my point for me, Muhammad, who obviously is a MAGA supporter. Vladimir Putin, now I'm going to speak very slowly and distinctly for my MAGA friends out there. Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine. It's a win for Vladimir Putin if he gets land that doesn't or isn't owned by Russia. Muhammad just admitted that. That's why I say we, and I mean we by the United States, Ukraine, and all these NATO allies, need to make sure that Putin doesn't win this war. Why? It's dangerous for the world. Why is it dangerous for the world? Because if Putin is rewarded in any way, shape, or form for withdrawing troops and ending the war, he will then do it somewhere else. Could be Poland, could be Taiwan. That's why we have to make sure that Russia doesn't win this war. Why is that so hard for people like you to understand? Muhammad, stop watching your Newsmax and OAN and pay attention. So don't you give me your false equivalences and your hypocrisy when you voted for the orange turd, because you are a turd and you're also a coward for hanging up the phone.
Listen, so you have a problem with J.D. Vance because he didn't defend his family.
Sure.
But yet, no, you don't have a problem with Gavin Newsom, and he had an affair with his campaign manager's wife. That's amazing to me.
Did I ever speak about that? And then he hangs up the phone. What an idiot.
Yeah, but how is that? That's a false equivalent.
Yeah, well, first of all,
that's like saying you don't like apples, but what about oranges?
So Herb is a coward. If he's not a coward, he will call back because we did not hang up on him. So here's what I was going to say to Herb. Herb, have I ever defended Gavin Newsom in his personal life with those sexcapades? Have I ever defended that? Have I ever praised it? No. See, I'm going to educate.
And he's not your family.
I'm going to educate Herb, and it's very difficult to educate someone who is severely uneducated. And I'm going to make a similar reference to Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton did some cheating. He did some bad things. If Bill Clinton's in the Epstein files,
apparently
so be it. So be it. I don't defend Gavin Newsom, his personal life, but I will tell you this much. Okay. I would vote for Gavin Newsom over J.D. Vance for a lot of different reasons. I don't defend that sort of personal behavior, but I can tell you right now, I don't believe that if somebody mocked or made fun of Gavin Newsom's wife for her race, that Gavin Newsom would defend the person who made those statements. J.D. Vance did. That's what we were speaking of. I don't defend anybody that has, had infidelities with a husband or wife, and I never will. But that's the difference between me and you,
It's a
Herb.
False equivalent.
And by the way, Herb is a coward because you hung up the phone, Herb. By the way, Herb, has Gavin Newsom ever raped a woman before? Has Gavin Newsom ever been found liable for sexual abuse? Has anyone accused Gavin Newsom of rape? Is Gavin Newsom a 34-count felon? Has Gavin Newsom ever bragged about going into teenage girls' locker rooms while they were changing? Has Gavin Newsom ever bragged about sexual assault? The answer is no. So don't you give me your false equivalences and your hypocrisy when you voted for the orange turd, because you are a turd and you're also a coward for hanging up the phone.
He waited on hold all that time just to make a comment and hang up?
Yep. That's Herb for you.
Is he a MAGA?
The MAGA base, everybody. I don't think he wanted to answer that question. But anytime I can get a MAGA supporter to finally admit that they made a mistake, that's not an easy thing to do. So I guess I'll take that as a victory.
I know you and I got into an argument the other week, but if I can make it up to you, I would love to take you on a gondola ride at the Venetian sometime for $40.
Well, I'll be honest with you. If I had a fetish for middle-aged white men that are Trump supporters, then maybe you would have a chance. But I'm going to have to pass up that opportunity. Aaron, let's try to get serious here for a moment. Are you happy? And be serious with me here. Are you happy with Vladimir Putin stepping on American soil and them rolling out the red carpet for him, and Joe Biden, and saying that Joe Biden is the reason why this war started, and Donald Trump not answering any questions in the press conference? Like, as an American, which I assume you are, were you comfortable with that?
I think the meeting should have happened somewhere else, not in America. I mean, I just wouldn't want that guy being here because I despise the guy personally.
Well, I agree with you. We agree on that. I don't think it should have been in America either. I completely agree with you. Why do you think Donald Trump wanted to have it in America?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Maybe he doesn't want to leave the country, make it closer halfway in Alaska. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what's in his mind. I mean, he's kind of hard to keep up with every day.
Can you help me understand this, Aaron? Because a lot of MAGA Republicans are saying how great of a job Donald Trump is doing getting people to the table. By the way, Joe Biden got people to the table too. But what has Donald Trump accomplished so far? What has he accomplished? He hasn't punished Russia for anything. He's once again earlier today, he blames Ukraine for starting the war, which we know didn't happen. What has he done? What has he accomplished when it comes to this conflict?
Honestly, I think this war is going to be going on for a long time. And I just don't see it ending anytime soon. I hate to say it. I'm not trying to rip on Biden or Trump. I just think that I wouldn't be taking the victory lap before anything got done. That's just how I personally feel.
So I agree. I agree with you. So why is it then that he campaigned on I'm going to end the war within 24 hours? Because I think a lot of people believed him. I don't think you did, but a lot of people believed him.
Some did, but it takes years to end. War doesn't happen in 24 hours unless you have some ties.
All right.
To it.
So we agree on that. Okay, Aaron, you seem like a reasonable guy. So tell me, why did you vote for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris? Like, what was it about Kamala Harris that you couldn't stand and you couldn't vote for her over a 34 count felon adjudicated rapist? Like, what was it about Harris that you said, oh man, I can't vote for her?
I've just always been a lifetime Republican. I mean, Trump wasn't my first choice in 2016 in the primaries. I mean, they kind of just vote for the nominee, and I try to give him a chance. But I mean, sometimes it just doesn't work out, Like, there's things I wish he wouldn't do. I wish he would spend less time on Twitter. I wish he'd focus more on what's happening versus pop culture issues.
But didn't he do that? But I agree with you, but don't you know, he did that in his first administration. What made you think he was going to change this go around? And I understand you say you're a lifelong Republican. I understand that. But I think the question's more important than what party you're in, right? I mean, you do agree with me. He's a 34 count felon. He's an adjudicated abuser. If not for him, January 6th doesn't happen. And I guess, were you willing to put all those issues to the side just because you're a lifelong Republican?
I mean, I voted for John Kasich in 2016 primary. He was my first pick. I thought old age would mellow him out a bit, just him, becoming an older type of guy. I thought that would at least somehow take the edge off. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, but what was it about Harris that I understand you're a lifelong Republican? Let me ask it a different way. What are some of the policies on the left that Kamala proposed, or some of the stuff that Joe Biden did that you didn't like?
Well, I just think that I'm more like I like lower taxes. I'm big on the border. I like to have the border closed.
All right, so let's start with taxes. Donald Trump has the biggest tax breaks for the top 1% in the history of this country in the big and beautiful bill. Does that bother you at all if you want to talk about tax breaks?
No, because everyone gets a tax cut regardless of who gets one. We all benefit.
Right.
You're going to get one.
I'm not benefiting anywhere near as much as the richest people in this country are, and you know that. Kamala Harris had a plan where if you had a household income of under $400,000, she wanted to cut the taxes down to 26%. She campaigned on that. Donald Trump hasn't done that, and of all people, this. The big and beautiful bill gives the biggest tax breaks to the top 1%. And in Donald Trump's first administration go around, he gave all the tax loopholes to CEOs of the Fortune 500 companies and the tech billionaires. So if you care about, and I'm going to assume you're being genuine when you tell me you care about tax breaks for the middle class and the poor, you really think that Donald Trump is the guy? He's the guy that's taking away Medicaid from 15 million plus Americans. He's the guy that's taking food stamps off the table. So if that is one of your primary issues or criticisms with the Democrats, why wouldn't you vote for Harris then? I don't understand. Trump's the guy that's taking all these government programs away from the poor.
I mean, the cuts that were in my congresswoman here, I think she was actually mentioned on your show. Like, she actually said it right. Like, scaling back some of the Medicare stuff and Medicaid, like, we have to make sure that people who are fit to work are using these programs.
Okay, but that's okay. But I understand. But that's not. You understand that 30% of people who are working in the United States are not offered health care, and those that are offered health care, almost half of them can't afford it. So the overwhelming majority of these people are going to lose their health care coverage that are actually working. And the right-wing talking point is, well, you got to get off your ass and work. We heard the same thing about unemployment benefits, the same thing about welfare, the same thing about food stamps. There's always going to be a small percentage of people that are going to take advantage of it. But you and I well know, I assume you know, that there's a lot of people in this country that are working that can't afford the health care or not offered it. What do we do about those people? And
I agree. Yeah, because I think a lot of the people feel like Trump's base. I mean, like all the people who worship him, like he's a god with flags on their house and all that. I mean, a lot of those people are probably just quote on their ass and not working. I mean, I wonder how many of those people are receiving subsidies or being hypocrites at the same time. I'm just throwing that out there, like down south.
Okay, as I said, there might be some lazy people out there, but I could also say that 30% of the people that are working in this country aren't offered healthcare benefits. Listen, dude, that's a lot of people, Aaron. That's a lot of people that are many of them are going to lose their healthcare coverage, and Republicans are lying when they say, "Oh no, this is going to do a better. This will be better for Americans. It makes Medicaid stronger." No, it doesn't. There's a lot of people that are going to be sick. They're going to die. There's a lot of people that are going to be going to the emergency room because they can't afford the medicine. I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, Aaron, this is the guy you voted for. On day one, he signed an executive order getting rid of Plan B and Plan D that Joe Biden put in place for capping insulin costs. Millions of Americans now do not have their insulin capped at $35. Donald Trump signed that executive order on day one. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to convince me that you would say that Donald Trump is helping the middle class and the poor. Look at what he's doing with these tariffs, Aaron. Look at all these businesses that are shutting down. Look at all these people that are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. They need those healthcare benefits.
Yeah, I understand. Like, there has to be a better way of doing. If I vote for Trump, it's more of like, just I don't know. I just couldn't vote for Harris. And
Why?
I think
Help me understand. Help me understand, Aaron.
I think Trump's made mistakes in his life. Yeah, I don't think he's the best guy. He has issues, but it's just he's going to come, he's going to go, he's going to be gone. We'll never have to hear from him, hopefully, again.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen, but would you consider it a mistake when you intentionally go into a teenage girl's locker room to see those teenage girls half naked without their permission? See, I think it's a mistake when you lock your keys in your car. It's not a mistake. It was intentional. Do you think it's a mistake that he's in the Epstein files? Is it a mistake that he's a 34-count felon? Is it a mistake that this is the guy who said, I don't want black people counting my money in my Atlantic City casinos. I want Jews counting my money. Is it a mistake that he was sued thousands of times on discrimination lawsuits because he didn't want black people living in his complexes in Manhattan? See, I don't think that's a mistake. Is it a mistake when he takes out a page in the New York Times saying that the Parkland Five, should get the death penalty? And then when they're proven innocent through DNA, he doesn't retract, doesn't apologize. See, I don't think those are mistakes. He's just an awful human being, an adjudicated rapist, a convicted felon, and a guy who is not a good businessman. He's not a good businessman. He was given a $500 million company from his dad. And, look at all of his businesses that have filed for bankruptcy. He's a con man. Would you really consider that like mistakes? Like, what if that was your daughter? Let me ask you this. I don't know if you have kids, Aaron, okay? But I'm asking.
I don't.
Okay, understand. But if you had a daughter that was 13 or 14 years old and some creepy old man went in there without permission that was running the pageant and got a look at her half naked, would you vote for that guy?
I would not, no.
Okay, so I appreciate your honesty, Aaron. So my question then is, why does it only apply to you? Why can't it apply to other people?
I guess I messed up when I voted for him. I just don't know what to say. And I thought, you and I talked about this before, but maybe he isn't the best person. I just think that we're going to move on to 28, really. I mean, I don't know what to say.
If it's J.D. Vance versus, by the way, I appreciate you admitting that. There's a lot of people that voted for Donald Trump today that are not willing to admit that they made a mistake. So I do appreciate you admitting that. If it's 2028 now, the elections are around the corner, and it's like a J.D. Vance or one of these MAGA Republicans versus, I don't know, a Josh Shapiro, a Gavin Newsom, what do you do?
I would write in Sydney Sweeney, honestly.
Okay, well, I'll take that as a joke, but I do appreciate your call, Aaron. Thank you very much. I don't think he wanted to answer that question. But anytime I can get a MAGA supporter to finally admit that they made a mistake, that's not an easy thing to do. So I guess I'll take that as a victory. I guess I will.